Thank you very much. Is it Keilani?
Keilani.
Keilani?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too. Thank you for agreeing to talk to us at Hollywood North Magazine.
My
It's
pleasure. Thanks for having me.
yeah, it's a pleasure. I did a little research on you and I watched some of your DJing and some of your dancing. Man, you have incredible energy.
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know where you get that from.
Got it from my mama.
Is that right? Yeah. I think a lot of people are feeling like that they don't have much control anymore. They feel like a lot of their independence has been taken away. They've been stripped of that. So it's great that you have come out with a film. You've created an idea where to remind people to take back their lives. And that they're still in control. We just have to be patient and try and live within boundaries, I guess. Um,
Totally.
mhm.
And even though we are being respectful of, restrictions during this risky time, I think
Mhm.
within that, there's really wonderful ways that we can stay connected to each other. And I
Right.
always feel like creativity is so healing. So I think that it's important
Mhm.
that we get to maintain that. And I really have big shout outs because I know in Vancouver right now, the industry is slowly opening up. And it's
Mhm.
really exciting to see that. There's a lot of new protocols on set, but I have some
Yeah.
friends that are working right now. And just to know that we're right up there, right behind the frontline workers, trying to like keep society healthy in our own way.
Mhm. That's right. Entertainment plays a huge part of that, and a healthy mentality, because we
Mm-hmm.
all need an escape. It's like escapism, right?
Totally.
And we can get lost in characters and in the storyline, which brings us out of our reality that we're always, which is kind of depressing right now. Depending on your perspective, I suppose.
Something that I learned from my mom and from my sisters. I have two younger sisters. They're the dearest thing to me. We're
Mm,
so close. But something that I learned from them and from my family growing up was you really can make something and anything from nothing. And so throughout all of these experiences that have led me to where I am now at this intersection of these wonderful artistic outlets, at this intersection of being an Indigenous female person of color, navigating my way through this industry. Um, every time something does hit hard and I feel like a bit of a low, or I feel like a challenge of, you know, you commit to something that becomes more of a passion project and you're not making as much money, or, this thing that you were really excited about falls through, or, anything anything in the moment that can bring you down for a second. I think the gift of resilience that I've learned from my mom always keeps me going. So always
mm,
I feel like I am living the dream, even though there's definitely been some hardships with that.
mhm. Everybody is well in Canada, in British Columbia. There's been such a um, seems like there's such a an effort for more diverse films. I don't know if it's the same in the U.S., but yeah, especially in BC though, they're really pushing on more
I
diverse
agree.
films.
I
Pardon?
agree, and
Mhm.
I'll share with you real quick if we have time.
Sure, sure.
The film that I did last year was my first lead in an independent feature film, and it was called The Color Rose, and it's
Mhm.
becoming released this new year, I believe. We just did festivals and had our premiere right before COVID, but we got distribution with ArcLight. And the amazing thing about this project was, like you were saying about diversity, it
Mhm.
was an all-female lead cast, 7 lead females, and the whole entire director, writer, producer team was all females, and it was just such amazing
Oh, wow.
energy to be able to step into a work environment with that representation. And
Mm,
I'm really excited for the release and for all of friends and family and everybody to see what we worked on. But yeah, it's
mhm. That's pretty incredible to be part of that. And hopefully that will become the norm, right? I mean,
exactly.
that's what should be happening.
Hmm.
Um, it's in this day and age, there should be it should come down to the talent, not where you're from, what culture you're from. what your abilities are, but it should really and then using other like such as using Asian people to play indigenous people. That should be a something in the past, an old, something that are forgotten, or something that should not continue. You know,
Right.
yeah,
I think
you
they are
know,
making good steps towards doing that correctly. I know that, well, it's complex, but my agent is sharing with me that a lot of the roles right now, they specifically ask you for your status card to make sure that it's correct and that they're casting authentically and respectfully.
that's great. It's great to
Yeah.
see a change like that happening. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think it's because actors have been making some noise, and they've been making demands and saying, why are we getting other people to impersonate other ethnic cultures? Um, so it's really good to hear that. You're a trained actor. Was the writing something that was self-taught, or did you take a course in screenwriting?
I've basically just been mentored by
Okay.
some, yeah, some talented folks that believe in me. So I feel
Hmm.
that's
Well,
been a great start, and I'm really grateful for it.
yeah, and I can imagine that you've read so many screenplays already in your career, so you're quite familiar with the format. Um, well, it sounds like you have everything going your way. What types of stories would you like to see more of on in film? Do you think that there's other stories that should be told that aren't being told?
I think a big one for me is right now we're on this forefront of discussions about systemic injustice and racial inequality. And for me, the intersections of my First Nations roots in Canada, as well as my Indigenous roots from Hawaii, are on such a parallel. And I think the work that these peoples do to fight for sustainability for our planet, fight for equality for all people, like these beliefs are rooted into their cultures from before anything to do with colonization happened. And to be able to bring everything back around full circle and tell these stories through these voices, collaborate with these artists and actors and writers, I think is going to be a huge game changer because people are starting to realize. And so I think if we can amplify that even more and respect where it all comes from, it's going to be a really beautiful thing. And I think it'll have a really wonderful effect on the world. I think it's time. I think the
Hmm.
world is getting ready for some
Hmm.
mega healing. And so, yeah, I would say bringing it back to some of the original storytellers. And I think when I look at my creative journey and how it's led me here, there's no doubt in my mind that it's where I'm supposed to be, because when I look at my ancestors, in both of those cultures that I was telling you about, the Hawaiian and the Indigenous, it's pretty fascinating that they never ever had a written language before colonization. It was all passed on through storytelling, through dance, through chant, through music. And
Mm.
that's how they communicated, that's how they connected, that's how they shared history. And so to know that it feels so embedded in my being, and that's how I need to present and share with the world right now, it's like, yeah, this is it all makes
Yeah.
sense.
That's very interesting that your parents are one's Hawaii Polynesian and the other one is indigenous. That's quite a combination.
I should clarify, so my mom's family is the whole mix of that jazz. Her family is Hawaiian, um, Black, European, a little bit of French, Irish, and Spanish, and First Nations. Our band is called Clitli, and it means the people where the two rivers flow together, which is colonially known as Prince George.
Okay, okay.
And so that's that side of the family. My dad's side of the family is entirely Chinese.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Jeez. Well,
Yeah.
that's amazing to have so much culture, rich culture within your own family, to be
Mm-hmm.
able to lean on that and get research that more or get to know that side more.